let's go to Lynn in Adamstown next, who says she came down with Omicron on 1/29 and took a home test, which was positive. Her symptoms were mild, like a common cold, runny nose, and headache. She was vaccinated but not boosted. She self-isolated for 5 days and then tested positive again. At what point does she get a third test? She has no symptoms but does not want to be contagious. How long should we wait now? And that's from Lynn in Adamstown. Let me know if you need me to repeat any of those details from her.
Lynn, that's a great question. My son is sick right now with his second bout with COVID, and he's got some of the same questions right there. So, Earl, can you answer that for all of us?
Sure. I would. Can you read that again, the timeline?
Sure thing. So she came down with Omicron on, looks like the 29th, and took a home test, which was positive. Her symptoms were mild, like a cold, runny nose, headache. She was vaccinated but not boosted. She self-isolated for 5 days and then tested positive again. At what point does she get a third test? She has no symptoms now but doesn't want to be contagious.
I would say that you probably should talk to your physician, but individuals typically, and we don't necessarily know with Omicron yet, but if it holds through with the typical shedding that we've seen, typically within 8 days, individuals have shed enough of the virus to not be infectious any longer. There are some individuals that, mostly immunocompromised individuals, that will be that are immunosuppressed, that will continue to be infectious. But typically, you aren't infectious. But you can honestly, some people can go on for weeks and still be, quote unquote, symptomatic but improving. Still test positive, but also not be infectious. So, again, that would be a more sort of complex technical question for your personal physician. But, again, most likely you aren't infectious any longer. But, again, you could still, and some people do still, test positive for weeks. And it's rare, but there have been individuals that have gone on months and still tested positive.